Good morning, true crime friends. Listen, Melly's case ended in a mistrial yesterday, and I have to say that I believe this might be my last Melly video. Now, understand, I'm wrong all the time, and I change my mind constantly, so it might not be my last Melly video. But for right now, I think I need a break from Mr. Melly and all of his friends, and more than anything, his crazy fans. They tend to be, bless their hearts, enthusiastic and slightly unhinged sometimes. I'm just saying that it's a lot. It's a lot. Unless you're up here saying free Melly, then people kind of tend to lose their minds. And this is a fun spot. We come here, we get together in the morning, we have a nice cup of coffee, we have a little kiki, and then we go on with our day. What I don't need is the madness that gets sent my way. What I'm concerned about his fans, right? Like, I might not even post this video. I'm gonna be really real. They seem slightly murdery. I'm just not to paint with a broad brush. And I'm like, if that seems like it might not be good for him. Okay, look, whatever. That aside, it's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. Yes, I'm far from Florida. I'm all the way in New Jersey. It's a beautiful day in New Jersey. I'm going to do some exciting things out in the yard today. I'm going to help my son change a tire on his bike. I'm going to do some things in the garden. I may rest. I absolutely have to go to the gym because yesterday I had let's just say some things that are not on my typical meal plan, including Taco Bell, which, okay, not that bad. Nachos Bel Grande. But with the meat, not the beans. No, with the beans, not the meat. So, like, slightly lighter, although 500 zillion carbs. Okay, fine. Then I made a pineapple upside down cake with fresh pineapple because that's what the kids wanted. And then I had to taste it. And then it tasted so good, I had to taste it again. And then the next thing you know, I've eaten an entire piece of pineapple upside down cake. Okay, really, like, fell off the wagon just a little bit. And then I was at the supermarket, and they had these like low calorie what do you call them? Dreamsicles, like the orange on the outside and the ice cream on the inside. Oh, I love those. I love those as a kid. I still love them today. So I had one of those like on the drive on the way home because it was hot. And then I was like, this was good, but it doesn't taste as good as like the ones that have like full sugar and full fat. I feel like I didn't eat anything. And so I got home and I put them in the freezer and I was like, I wonder what those dreamsicles taste like. Did I eat one? Seems like I did, but I don't remember. So I had another one. There's only 6 in the box. So now there's only 4 in the box. And then I was about to go to bed last night and I was like, my throat is dry. You know what would quench my throat? One of those dreamsicles. So then I had a third one. And then I was like, okay, I have gone way off the rails like I am wont to do. So I'm gonna go to the gym today. Or maybe I'll just stay home and ride my bike. I love riding my bike. Maybe we'll go to the park and ride bikes today. That might be nice. And that's a good form of cardio. And it's not the same. It's just like walking to nowhere like when you're at the gym. I'm babbling today, but it is a Sunday. I can babble if I want to. And on Sundays, ideally, this is the day when I get up and I listen to lots of Snapped and then I make all my little Snap videos or whatever. We'll see. I don't know. I've made one so far. Don't know if I'll do more. I'll have to see how I feel. And the other day, I said I was going to tell you the story because it's Sunday and it's not like there's no real true crime going on. And so, apropos of absolutely nothing, I'm going to tell you the story that I promised to tell you the other day that was relevant to whatever I was talking about the other day, but I don't remember what I was talking about the other day. So I'm just going to tell you now. That is about the time that I got fired from my job. Only I didn't quit. I mean, I didn't leave. Like they said, well, let me tell you what happened. I was pretty shy early in my life. I know that feels shocking to you right now. But when I was young, I was just like so shy and so nervous and I wouldn't say anything or whatever. But I made it my business to make sure that I got my way. I'm a youngest child. I'm a spoiled child. I'm an entitled human being. So, yeah. And obviously I have all this pretty privilege. So, what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck with it. It is the cross that I bear. So, when I was 16, I wanted to get a job. And my mother said, and I quote, why would you work when I'm working? And I thought that is a wonderful theory because my mother started working when she was 9. She was like a house girl or whatever. And so she worked for Mrs. Crawford, rest in peace. And so from the time she was 9 years old. So when my sister and I were coming up, my mother is like, we live in a nice area. I have a good house. I don't want you guys out here like slaving away. Be kids, have your childhood. When you turn 18, you'll work and fine. But why should you work when I'm working? And I was like, that is an excellent theory. Although, because I was a 16-year-old, I resented it. And then I got like a little job and then somebody made me mad. And I was like, Ma, they made me mad. She's like, why are you working anyway? And I was like, yeah, why am I working anyway? So I quit the job, right? So I turned 18. It's the summer before I go to college. And I'm just like laying around the house doing nothing. My mother's like, you need to get a job. And I said, why would I work when you working? And she was like, what? What in the world? And so I was like, I don't want to, why should I? I really don't see myself as a worker like that. That just does not seem like something I would do. And she was like, you better get off my couch. That better seem like something. You get your behind out there. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to work, I want to make a lot of money. Keep in mind, at the time, minimum wage was maybe $3.25. Yes, I'm old. Minimum wage, $3.25 an hour. Could you live off that? No, but I was not trying to live off of that. I was living with my mom, so whatever. So I get this job, and it's a cleaning job. I don't enjoy cleaning. I have never enjoyed it. Do I clean? Yes. But do I enjoy it? Absolutely not. So what made me think that I was going to enjoy a job as a cleaning person is beyond me. But the salary was like $8-10 an hour. And I was like, yes, please. I will take that. It's like 2-3 times the minimum wage. I'm about to take this money. So I go get this job where we clean like hallways, right? Like not people's houses, but if you go in an apartment complex, like the hallway needs to be vacuumed and dusted and whatever. So I got this job where me and this girl, Debbie, got in the company truck and we would drive all around to these different apartment complexes and we would like vacuum the hallways and we had to go all the way to the top of the stairs, 3-story walk up, and then vacuum our way all the way down on these interior stairwells. And then we would dust and do all the hallways are supposed to be perfectly clean. Also, we clean new construction. So when the house is being built, once it's all done being built, a team of people go in there and they sweep and they dust and they clean the mirrors and they do whatever. Those jobs are actually really easy because it's just like construction dust and all the major stuff is taken out. You're just getting rid of dust. So I liked those. But those hallways, well, people walked in those with their shoes and there was stairs. I did not enjoy stairs. And I was like, it is summer. I'm sweating. This is not for me. So I was a terrible employee. Me and Debbie, we drive around to the hallways, vacuum the first floor. We would not walk all the way up to the 3rd floor. Then we would spray some air freshener and then we would leave and go on to the next assignment, which left us plenty of time during the day to go visit Debbie's dead mother over at the mausoleum. So we spent a lot of time at the mausoleum and a little bit of time doing the thing we were actually getting paid for. But at the end of the week, I would get this nice fat check as though I had worked 40 hours a week. When really, tops, I maybe worked 4 hours a week. Maybe not even that much. So the boss was like, we are getting complaints that you guys are not cleaning the hallways very well. And I was like, really? Wow, we're doing the best we can. And he was like, so I'm going to go out with you and I'm going to train you. So this job was typically Monday to Friday, like 10 to 4:30, something like that. And so this one day we go jump in the truck and he gets in the truck with us. And I was like, first of all, it's not enough room for 3 people in this truck because it was a small truck. And he was like, okay, I'm going to follow you in my car, but we're going to drive out to the furthest hallway. And then I'm going to show you how to do it. So I had a back vac, which is like a backpack with a vacuum. But then when you plug it in, it got hot. And it was already hot. I did not enjoy this. So he's like, you have to walk all the way to the top of the stairs. And I was like, all the way to the top? And he was like, yeah, what have you been doing all this time? I was like, yeah, I've been walking to the top of the stairs in the July heat. He was like, yeah, walk to the top of the stairs. So I go to the top of the stairs. He's like, and then vacuum all the way down. So I vacuumed my way all the way down. And then I was tired and I was hot and I wanted something to drink and I wanted to go home and watch Oprah. And he was like, great. Okay, so you have to do that for these 8 more hallways. And I was like, what now? He was like, what have you been doing this whole time? I was like, this that you just showed me. But, apparently not that well because the people are complaining. So I did like 3 hallways, and then I was like, he's sitting here in the middle of the courtyard, just like talking on the phone. And I was like, this son of a sucker, just because he's the boss, I don't like this. So I said to him, I'm hot. And he was like, this is your job. And I said, it's too hot to do this. And I took the backpack off and I threw it on the ground. This man's equipment for the company that he owned. I was a skosh disrespectful, a little bit. So he was like, go sit in the truck. And I was like, you need to watch how you talk to me. You know, people say millennials don't have a good work ethic. I'm Gen X, Gen Z, Gen whatever I am. And I had a horrible work ethic as a young person because I didn't feel like I should have to work. I just felt like I should show up and be cute and they should give me money. Turns out that's not how business works, and I know that now. But at the time, I was like, I don't like his attitude. So come Friday, I worked the whole next week, and I did a better job, though not by much. If you want to know the truth, me and Debbie got in the truck and we drove around, and we spent less time visiting her dead mother at the mausoleum, and more time cleaning, but not that much more. Debbie could not be fired because her boyfriend or fiance, whatever he was a partner in the company. So no matter what happened, they were going to keep Debbie on. But this random chick who came off the street who had a terrible attitude and threw the equipment and was fresh with the boss, they were less like, nah, girl. So I did the whole next week, and at the end of the week, they gave me my paycheck in an envelope. So I was like, thanks, came in, I picked up my check. I go to leave, and I open up the envelope, and on the back of it, or no, maybe on the memo line, it said final payment. And I was like, that's interesting. And so I deposited my nice fat check into the bank. And then on Monday, I went back to work. And they were just like, everybody's looking around, looking at me. And I was thinking to myself, I said to my mother, what does it mean when they put final payment on a check? And she's like, then they don't have to pay you anymore. They're all done. And I was like, wait, they put final payment on my check. Does that mean I'm fired? She's like, sounds like. What did you do? And I was like, I didn't do anything. I'm an A student. You know I wouldn't do anything. And I was right. I didn't do anything. Not at work, not at home, nothing. I did nothing. And so she was just like, we'll go and have a conversation with them, and maybe you could work it out and get your job back. And I was like, for real, you think they fired me? She's like, oh yeah, they definitely fired you. And I was like, oh, okay. So on Monday, I went in and I looked on the schedule. Everybody was looking around like, what is she? She's back. And my name was not on the schedule. But I'm not stupid. I knew that me and Debbie worked the same schedule. So I was like, oh, Debbie is in truck B. So I just went and I sat in truck B and waited for Debbie to come. And she sat down with her coffee. She's like, oh, hey, girl. I was like, hey. And then we drove on off to the apartment complexes and we cleaned them a little bit better, but still not that clean. So I worked all week, just following Debbie's schedule, because when I had trained, my training week, they said follow Debbie's schedule. The fact that my name was not on that schedule meant absolutely nothing to me. And so at the end of the next week, I go and I have a paycheck. My theory is I'm 18 years old. All y'all are good and grown. I don't know how old they were, but they were good and grown. They drank coffee and they smoked cigarettes. In my mind, they could have been 25. They could have been 75. They were grown folks. I was a child. If y'all don't have the nerve to tell me that I'm fired, then I'm going to keep showing up. And I expect to get paid. And then they were like, they said in the office, in an office meeting, right? They had a whole office meeting, all hands meeting. Everybody was there. We're trying to think of a new name for the company. If you submit your names and whoever gets the winning name, you're going to win $300. I was submitting names in the drawing. I was going to work. They said, we have a new complex. It's opening, new construction cleaning. And I was like, oh, I'm good with new construction. They said, so anybody who works at the new construction gets time and a half. Great. I worked 3 days at the new construction. I did a beautiful job there. The air conditioner was turned on. It wasn't that hard. I just swept up some little piles of dust, made time and a half. And finally they were like, yeah, so we took your name off the schedule and we wrote final payment on your check. And I was like, nobody told me I was fired. I didn't know. And so finally the boss's wife was like, Kathy, did you notice your name was on the schedule? I said, yeah. And she said, did you notice we put final payment on your check? I said, mm-hmm. And she was like, so that means you don't have to come in anymore. And I was like, well, I have 3 more weeks until I go off to college. So I figured I would just work these last 3 weeks. And she was like, but we hired a new girl. And I was like, Okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, good for you. What that got to do with me? So the next time I go to work, like I get my check. That was on a Friday. Went to the all hands meeting on Saturday, worked Saturday afternoon at the time and a half place. And then on Monday, my name is still not on the schedule. And I go get in the truck where Debbie is supposed to be. And the new girl is sitting in my seat. Turns out they had replaced me without telling me. Now, yes, they said they hired a new girl, but nobody has said with their lips that I am fired. So in my mind, I'm just going to work. And so the new girl was sitting there and she was like, hey, they told me to follow Debbie's schedule. I was like, oh, you're on the training schedule? She was like, yeah, I'm supposed to follow Debbie around. I said, great. I think you have to take your own car, though, because this is my seat. And she said, okay. And she went and sat in her own car. And Debbie was like, oh, hey, morning, girl. I said, hey, good morning. And we went and we did, we cleaned all day. And I said to her, what you need to do is go all the way to the top of the stairs and then vacuum your way down. And she was like, it's really hot. I said, yeah, I know it's hard work. I used to have to do it, but now, like, we are training you. We are training you. And so finally they said, Kathy, we need you to not come to work anymore. That was about halfway through the third week of me going to work after I was fired. And I said, but you're still going to pay me, right? Because I did work the time and a half schedule. She was like, yeah. We're going to pay you for the hours that you put in. And but after this, we don't need your services anymore. I said, oh, okay. Can I come back and work here next summer? And she said, why don't you reach out to us next summer and we'll see. And I said, okay. And so I took my little paycheck and I put it in my savings. And when I started sleeping in, my mother said, what happened? I said, oh, I go back to college in a week now, so I'm done working there. And she said, oh, okay. And the next summer, they were out of business. You know why I think they went out of business? Because they didn't treat their employees well and they were not good with communication. Also, I did not win the $300 prize for naming the company, but it didn't matter, because they didn't exist anymore. See, the moral of the story is treat your employees well. Also, maybe be direct in your communication, because sometimes people don't get it when you hint. I'm not good with a hint. You got to talk to me directly. So now we know. These days, though, I am a stellar employee, according to me. Also, according to my bosses, because they like me a lot. And couple times when I was like, I don't know that I want to work here anymore, they were like, please don't go. We'll give you like incentives to stay. And so I stayed. I'm just saying I'm very grown up and I've raised kids with good work ethic. Most of them. There's that one, but we're not even going to go there. Anyway, you have a great day and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.